Okay, so first we're going to look and see what we have in our bag. And my alebrije is a hummingbird. And the wings are separated, but to be able to paint it, you're going to take off the wings. So then you can paint it. If you did get a hummingbird, then you would have had a hook on it so you could hang it up later. And then these are usually the primary colors. And then we can mix them to make different colors. And then we get a little bag there with some nails, some toothpicks, and sponges. And then very important is your paintbrush, your little paintbrush. And then a little brochure. And it has just some of the steps to paint our alebrije. But it's very simple. The meaning of the three colors as step 1, step 2, until we get to the end of our piece. It's so look at it quickly, but the very important. But usually here is a little eye. Why? Because usually when we start painting, we start with the eyes because that's how we give life to our alebrije, to our nahual. And then we can see that it's looking at us, and then we can have a connection with our alebrije. Let's see how we look, how we use our little toothpicks. But usually we start with the most basic, which are the toothpicks. But first we need to open all of our paints. And we can do a lot of different mixtures of various colors. See? You see that? And what we do with the nail is we get it wet, just the head of the nail. And then many times when we get our paints, it's a little bit pasty, so we have to separate it. We have to break it up a little bit. And then we have just little bit of water, just some dots. Just, and then so it gets a lot more watery. And then everybody has to do this with each one of their paints. And then we're going to start painting. But if we don't want to mix the paint with the paintbrush, we could do it with our sponge, just with 3 or 4 drops. And then just with the end of your paintbrush, you can mix it just to make it a lot more watery. And it's important that you make them liquid. And then when they're mixed, they need to be more watery. And we don't send them to you so liquid because they can leak. But you can mix them together with water. And so you can see how you got it wet with the paint, and then you see how you did it? Now how do we use the sponge? And so we use it in the form of a little belly, a little ball. And then we get it get it wet with the paint. We get it wet with the paint. And then we take out the excess paint. You could do it on your hand or you can do it on your napkin or a paper towel. And then we start making the pattern. And then I'll show you how it's winding up. And so then we apply the paint just with just little pounding the paint on. And it's important that it needs to be like pounding. But because it'll smudge it if you put it on smoother. And so to this point, we've only used the nail and the sponge. Now we're going to use a toothpick. And with the toothpick, we use to make tiny dots or lines. If I want to make tiny dots, and that's what you use a toothpick. Every time you get it wet, then you can make 3 more points. 3 more dots. You see it? You see? So now we've used the nail, the sponge, and the toothpick. We haven't even touched the paintbrush. See? See that? That's how our piece is coming along. And then if we want to make lines with our toothpick, we can also do that. With just a toothpick. With just a toothpick, we can do this. See that? The lines with the... So we did the lines with the toothpick, the little points with the toothpick, and then a base with the sponge, the eyes with the nails. And now we're going to do a base on the wings. And then to mix the colors, we can take some blue. We can mix it with white. So put 50-50. And then if we put some more blue, and then we put 25%. 25% blue and the rest white, then we can see. And then we can have a whole range of colors. You have like a white piece of paper or any place or a bottle cap you can mix. You always need to have your napkin. And then we can do different types of bases or lines. And then here I'm going to make a line down the middle of our piece. My wife had showed us how to make colors with the lines with the toothpick. Okay, and now I'm making the line while you figure out how to mix your colors. And now we're going to mix different colors in different places. If it's getting a little bit dry, we can just put a little bit of water. And then with little water, we're going to continue. And now I'm going to begin the decoration of the back. And this is where you need to be patient and calm. I'm going to explain how to make the drawings with the paintbrush. And then we use the little pinky a lot. This is like our support. And then that's how we make the lines, using the little pinky as a support. You see that? And then this our pinky finger helps us out a lot. Generally, our drawings are symmetrical. So, so that's why we divide it. And then you can see that I put a little bit of light around the eye. I put a light around the eye and it looks like it's looking at us. The paint takes about 3 to 5 minutes for it to dry. Um, it's humid here, but we have a lot of ventilation. But you have to be careful that you're not touching the fresh part of the paint. Well, if you have different parts, like the wings or the tail, you can wait for the one part to dry while you work on the other part. You can see. Okay, we're coming along with our piece. Okay, just to review the technique, you have to use the little finger to support yourself and then make the line like that. To make the fine points or dots, that's where we use the toothpick. And so to make a contrast, I'm using yellow on the blue. Just one dot at a time. And that's how we're making, giving shape to our piece. There's no protocol for the type of colors you're to use. You can you can use a range of colors if you want, stronger one, a lighter one. I'm using blue and yellow. Okay, and here we have yellow. And then we have red. And then that's how we get like a terracotta color. And then we need 50% black. And then we need to mix it. Then little by little, we'll get a brown color. You can see that? And then you can put some more black to make it darker. And then put yellow. And that's how we have like the color sienna, dark brown. And then you take your sienna and put a little bit of white. I hope that answers your question. Okay, thank you so much for supporting us. They're saying hello from San Martin Tilcajete. That's the name of um, the community where they live. We have some examples, and so then you can get some ideas in what we're developing. And this owl I have in my hand, and then we have the swirls that we call snails. When a student starts, you start with the symmetry, or I'm sorry, with the geometrical shapes like triangles, circles, rectangles, squares. Okay, and for those of you that have the hummingbirds, we're doing the lines on the wings. Okay, and if there's a tail, you can take the tail out so you can paint better. And now we're going to make harmony in the back. But then you use just the very, very tip of the paintbrush. And then we pull it back. It's always a technique that I use. I put on the point and then I pull it back. Put on the point, pull it back. I see the point and pull it back. 1 centimeter apart. Put the point and pull it back. And that's how it becomes so uniform. And I fill in the triangle. I fill in the triangle. This pattern that I'm forming is all geometry. Okay, so let's see how our hummingbird is going. Everybody that has a coyote or armadillo, you always have some marks. We're gonna be decorating it just step by step. Okay, and now we're going to do the wings. See? Now I want to use a softer color than the turquoise that I have. Don't be afraid to mix it. Enjoy it. Yeah. Everything you see about our nahuales is because we have a calendar, then the Zapotec calendar, which is 20 days, and there's 20. We have a chameleon, we have the coyote, and the Zapotec calendar. The turtle, number 4, is the iguana. And number 5 is the snake. The serpent represents the maximum power. And then number 6 is the armadillo, and that's patience. And, and 7 is the deer. Is going to be an artist or a musician. And number 8, which is the rabbit, and that's the animal with the ears. And the rabbit is a perfectionist and loving. And then number 9 is the frog, are very transparent and clear. And number 10 is the dog, is a good friend. And I'm going to leave it there with the 10 animals that represent part of the Zapata calendar, and then later on I'll give the other. And they're giving a welcome to San Martin del Quejete. There you'll find your home away from home there.